I'm your host, Sabrina Salvati. I'm your host, Sabrina Salvati. Hello, welcome. Happy Thursday, you guys. Oh no, I forgot my tea. My tea's in the kitchen. Crap. I can't start without my tea. Hold on, I'll be back. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I can't get it together, can't get it right. It's been a crazy day. And I think my husband just turned the heat on and now it's hot in here. It's hot. My hair's a mess. What's going on, guys? I hope you can hear me okay. All right. I had to grab my tea because it just feels weird. It just feels weird without. I feel like, yeah, I feel naked without my tea. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Shout out. Woohoo. Yeah, I'm streaming a little bit later tonight because I actually had a meeting at 7. So I'm here now. What's going on? Pitchforks are coming. How are you? Greetings, Assure. Are you telling me that the polls are reversing on Kamala, that K-Hive might get their queen in later years, if not 2024? Or is she calling out her racist boss for it was a debate moment again because, oh, Assure, we're going to get into it. I think you might be surprised what I tell you tonight, what I found out earlier today. Greetings, Miguel. What's up? Don't know who's worse, Kamala or Biden. They both suck. Damn. Greetings, Dan O'Neill. Don't come. That's what she said. Don't come. Don't come here. Don't come here. Greetings, Fred Ray. Kamala's flip-flopping on Medicare for All during the primary debates exposed her phoniness corporatism. Tosi exposed her criminal prosecutorial misconduct. It'll all happen again if she runs again. That is the truth. Keeping it real. What's going on, Lauren? Said TMI. Sorry, I really had to pee. I always have to pee like right before I go live. I don't know what that's about. Greetings, Diane. Shout out. She's a Sabby member. I'm still kind of upset about my super chat being taken out of context. This was after the interview with Kim. Felt disrespected and disappointed that the point I was making being deflected. You'll have to remind me what you said, Diane. I remember a lot of things came through on that chat. So you have to remind me. What's going on, Richard? I'm calling you Richard. What is going on? Shout out to Valerie Parcell. Always great to see you. Greetings, Laura Hanson. How are you? What's going on, Troy? Doobie doobie doo. Now it's stuck in my head. Greetings, Delthea Simmons, who's a Sabby member. Hello. What's going on, Workers Control of Production? How are you? Who's also a Sabby member. Scooby Dooby Doo. I didn't think about that before. Interesting. What's going on, Jill Clausen? How are you? They live, we sleep. Hello. Greetings. What's going on, Greg Bruce? Hello. Shout out to Matt Lerma here for the Doobie Dooby Doos. What's going on, Notori? Greetings. And of course, hello, gamer. It's always great to see you too. Diane said, I was commenting on Kim's shitty take on evictions and homelessness. Yeah. I don't know. Did I say it? Well, who said it? Did I say it? Was it me? Was it someone else? I don't remember. There were a lot of comments in that chat. A lot of things were said. And hi, Lawrence, of course. And greetings, Shayar. How are you as well? let's get started. Let's get started. So I am going to pull up my thumbnail so we can see like what we're talking about tonight. Oh, actually, I need to pull up my thing. Thanks so much, Richard, for the super chat. You're the best, Sabby, naked or not. I'm telling you, it's something I don't feel right when I don't have my tea leg with me. It just feels kind of weird. But thanks so much for the super chat. I am going to pull up my thumbnail so I can show you guys what we're talking about tonight. Should be pretty interesting. This is not the prettiest version of it. Oh, I forgot to do my JPEG. Man, today has been crazy, you guys. You don't even know. You don't even want to know. There we go. I actually thought today was Friday when I woke up this morning. Story of my life. You guys know I get the days wrong. You know I get the days wrong. I don't know if I'm coming or going sometimes. I just be all over the place. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Oh boy, we're going to get into it tonight. What is going on? What are we talking about this evening? Britney Spears is free, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait to get into that story. We're going to talk about the Obama interview is criticized, and that is interesting. I have some things to say about that. And of course, Kamala is beating Biden. Ooh, I don't know. I was actually really surprised when I saw this myself. So I was as shocked as you're gonna be. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there. Gonna be as shocked as you're gonna be. Everyone, feel free to join my Discord group as well. Thanks so much for reminding everyone, Eric, and reminding me as well, because I forget. Fun chats happen in there. So Eric put the link in the chat for you so you can join if you want to. Now, here we go. Let me go ahead and get into the first story. Now, where is here we go. Thursday night news. We need to start with Britney Spears. I've been wanting to talk about the story for a while, but I wanted to wait and find out what the result of the case was going to be. So I am talking about it now. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Doobie doobie doo. It's stuck in my head for real. All right, here we go, guys. Britney Spears' father removed from her conservatorship. Listen to this. Now, some of you probably heard about this story about Britney Spears basically not being in control of her assets, her body, hell, her life. Just not having control of her life. Britney Spears is like 40 years old. So listen to this. Britney's father will no longer head up her conservatorship after being suspended by a LA Superior Court judge, according to multiple Wednesday reports. The ouster of Jamie Spears is the latest turn in a 13-year legal arrangement. So, guys, this has been going on for 13 years. Could you imagine like fighting for like ownership of your own life for 13 years and you're an adult? Could you imagine dealing with that? So listen to this. Wednesday court hearing marked the latest twist in the ongoing high-profile case, which has drawn national attention and increased scrutiny to legal conservatorships. The 39-year-old toxic singer, I think she's 40, I think they need to double check that, has been under a conservatorship controlled by her father since 2008, following public mental health struggles. I'm going to get into that in a second. Let's go down here. The court did not rule on whether the conservatorship can be ended entirely, which the pop star also seeks. Earlier this week, Spears' attorney accused her father of crossing unfathomable lines by allegedly hiring a security firm that captured audio recordings of his daughter from her bedroom and interacting with her children and now fiance. Why he's taping what goes on in her bedroom is beyond me. I think that's gross. That's strange. That's creepy. You're her dad. Stop. A lawyer for Jamie Spears, who last month agreed to step down as conservator of his daughter's estate, said in a statement to the New York Times that all of his actions were well within the parameters of the authority conferred upon him by the court. This is the worst. In explosive remarks before an LA Superior Court judge in June, Spears called the 13-year conservatorship abusive and traumatizing. Spears claimed she faced a laundry list of horrors, including being forced to get an IUD and to take medication against her wishes. Let me pop out. Let's talk about this. Let's get right into it. Oh, man. So I don't know if all of you remember this. A couple years back, Britney Spears was going through, clearly some mental health struggles. This was during the time when they had like pictures of her showing that she shaved her head, when she was acting out towards paparazzi, which, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of celebrities have done that, and with good reason, because sometimes paparazzi just cross the line. And basically, she was deemed unfit to care for herself and to make decisions for herself. That came from her dad. I think her mom might have been involved in a little bit of this as well. They brought in the courts, and ultimately, the court decided that she was not, I guess, in the best mental state to have control of her assets, to have control of her life. Now, you got to think about something. Britney Spears started her career as a teenager. She became very famous very fast. And I've always said this, and I'll continue to say it. Being famous as a child or a teenager, it is a recipe for disaster. Now, that is not to say that some child actors and some child like musicians and celebrities don't go on to lead productive lives as adults. Some of them do, but a lot of them do not. It can be very difficult as a kid. Just think about it. You're 16 years old. You go from going to school with your friends, going to sleepovers, all that kind of fun stuff that you do just growing up like as a kid, to all of a sudden you are so famous to the point where you can't leave your house without a bodyguard. You have to wear some type of disguise, whether it's sunglasses, hats, whatever's. You become isolated from the rest of the world. If you want to go to the mall, if you want to go shopping, you have to go when the store is closed. And they do this for a lot of celebrities. They'll close the store for them so they can come in and shop by themselves. It's such an isolating experience. Just imagine that, being 16, not being able to like go to your prom if you wanted to go. Not saying you got to, just gotta make that clear. Not saying you have to, but just not being able to do things that like all the other kids do. And you can't go to graduation. And so basically, to make a long story short, you grow up fast. You don't believe me? Listen to Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore tells stories about what it was like being famous so young and how adult celebrities were treating her like she was an adult. They would have parties and she was only 13 years old. And she would go to the parties and she would get drunk with her mom. She talks a lot about that. So all of a sudden, you go from being a child, and I still consider teenagers children, to you go from being a child to depending on your parents, depending on your family to guide you and lead you. And you're still growing up along the way, to all of a sudden, you basically become an adult overnight. You have to make adult decisions. UGZ Magazine said, wasn't she a Disney kid, so was already working prior to her singing career? Yeah, but the thing about the kids that were on Disney and the Mickey Mouse Club and Kids Incorporated, The thing about that is back then, those were paywalled. So even if you had cable, Disney was something extra you had to add on. That means that a lot of people who didn't have cable didn't get to see Mickey Mouse Club. People who did have cable but didn't have that extra add on, they didn't get to see Mickey Mouse Club. That was something that Justin Timberlake talked about as well, because he was also a part of one of these shows as well. He said even when he was a part of those shows, he was still able to lead a normal life because a lot of people just didn't watch it, you know? So, yeah, someone just mentioned that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, the Disney Channel and Mickey Mouse Club. Yeah, but like I was saying, like that was cable and that was back when it wasn't back then everybody didn't have cable. It's not like how it is now. Back then, having cable was like, oh, you have cable? And then again, like I said, like that was an add on. That was something you had to add on, like a premium content. So they were still able to live like normal lives. Like even when she was on like Mickey Mouse Club, I think it was, yeah, Mickey Mouse Club, she still went to a regular school. That's what a lot of people don't understand. So she became an adult like overnight, and the cameras are always around. Paparazzi is always around you. It's little things like going on a date and not being able to do that, privately. Your first time, I hate to say it, but I still remember that interview that she had with, was that Diane? It was either Diane Sawyer or Barbara Walters. One of them, the one that makes people cry. I forget which one. But I remember they had the nerve to ask Britney Spears if she was a virgin. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, what a personal question to ask a teenager on national television. Why do you have to reveal that to the world? That's none's business but hers at that point. And I just felt like that was just I had no privacy, no privacy. But from the time that I can remember, Britney Spears, the moment she became famous, she was torn apart by the media time after time again. At one point, they said she was too provocative. She was dressing too provocatively. But it was okay when Christina Aguilera did it. A lot of people didn't notice that. Why was it okay when Christina Aguilera dressed that way, but it wasn't okay for Britney Spears? And I wonder if some of that has to do with the image that they were trying to project with Britney Spears. They wanted her to be like this sweet, wholesome pop, star kind of thing. And maybe that's just not who she was. Either way, the media has constantly picked her apart. Constantly. Am I blurry? What's up? Okay. They have constantly picked her apart. And I can only imagine what that life must have been like, right? You can't really have a normal relationship with people. You start dating people, the cameras are always around. You get married. Celebrities get married, they get divorced very quickly because, again, their spouse may not be able to deal with all of the media attention. It's like you don't get to have any type of privacy. That being said, later on, yes, Britney Spears was going through some mental health issues. I think a lot of us know about that. It does happen. She said later on she realized she was going through postpartum. That was part of it as well. She also said she had a friend that was sick with from cancer. So things that happen in normal people's lives as well. The only difference is for us, it's not put on the cover of tabloids. It's not put on the cover of magazines. It's not talked about on Inside Edition. It's not talked about on Entertainment Tonight. We get to maintain that privacy. But for her father to come in and say, that's it, I'm maintaining control of your finances, which I think is BS, by the way, because there are other child parents. Excuse me, child parents. Good Lord. Sorry, you guys, it's been a long day. There are other parents of kids that are celebrities that have done that, and they have mismanaged their funds. Macaulay Culkin is a perfect example. The little girl that played Jamie on Family Matters, Her parents managed her funds, and by the time she was cut from the show, she found out that her parents spent all of her money. And then she went into adult film to make money. They were solely depending on her. They quit their jobs and everything. And there are some parents out here who do that to their children when they become celebrities. For him to do that, and for her to be forced to get an IUD, now this goes into a women's rights issue, right? No woman should be forced to be put on any type of birth control. That is her choice. And some of the things I've heard about IUD, I would never know because I've heard not good things about IUD. But imagine being told that you have to be put on birth control. And then she came out and she said she wanted more children. She wanted to have more kids. They told her, no, you don't get to have more kids. We're putting you on birth control. So not only did her dad take away her financial freedom, he took away her right to her own body, her own reproductive system. I think that it's a shame. How could you do that to your child? It's all about the money. It's all about the money. All he saw was dollar signs. Very sad. And even if she was going through mental health issues, then that is when she can choose to seek mental health services. She can choose to get therapy. She can choose to go through counseling. But you don't get to dictate what a woman does with her body. You don't get to tell her that she can't have children. You don't get to tell her that she has to get on birth control. F that. I could not even imagine how frustrating it must have been for her the past 13 years to lose all of that control. I'm going to go to some of the comments in the chat. Jesus says, that sounds like some Scientology type of thing. Could be, Jesus. Could be. I don't know. I just know there's no way this should have been allowed. That's absolutely ridiculous. Bill said, even if she needed a temporary conservatorship, there is no way she needed it for 13 years. Unless she is like paranoid schizophrenic, which I don't think anyone is claiming. Absolutely. Like they came back later on and they said she was going through postpartum depression, which for people who don't know, postpartum depression can last for years, not just right after you have the baby. Laura said, I really can't get emotionally hijacked about a pop star. That's a good point too. Where Pilgrim said, lots of child stars have to fight with their parents over control of their money. Rarely does it entrap them past their teens, though. Exactly. 40 years old, and she's just now getting control of her money. Just now. Imagine if your parents came to you tomorrow and said, I have control over all of your funds. So if you want to spend money, you got to go through me first. Could you imagine dealing with that? She earned the money. This is not allowance. Eric Thomas said, if they can do it to Britney, they can do it to any of us. Exactly. This happened to someone who's famous, someone who's rich. They usually get a pass. It's scary. This is really scary. Things for people to think about. So I have a video that I want to show you about this as well. It's a short video. Let me cue up my vid. Scooby Dooby. Oh no, I can't get the doobie out of my head. Dooby doo. Let me share my screen. It just reminds me of like in some other countries when they choose to when girls become a certain age in other countries and they choose to I guess you would say fix them, so to say, so that they can't have children. It's a total violation of their rights. It's messed up, but this is the country that we live in, where again, women, we are constantly being challenged for control of our rights. We are constantly being challenged for control of our body, constantly. Even if you are a celebrity like Britney Spears. I'm going to mute my mic. Listen to this.
Tonight, a California judge has just ruled to formally suspend Spears' controversial father, Jamie, as the pop star's conservator. That means he does not control her money or life anymore on a legal basis. A certified public accountant has been appointed, and that's still to be ruled on whether to terminate this conservatorship in its entirety. The star's many fans were outside the courthouse cheering her on, as well as online. There's been a lot of attention here, and she spoke out publicly for the first time in late June, detailing her exploitive 13-year conservatorship and where she had really recounted how her father controlled way too much of her life. She described being in denial, shocked, traumatized, and said, quote, "I'm depressed. I cry every day. The people who did that to me should not be able to walk away so easily." Now, what changed was she was allowed to hire her own lawyer, who then basically replaced a court-appointed one. Now they're calling for an investigation into Jamie Spears. Meanwhile, damning new revelations that Spears was monitoring the daughter's communications of Miss Spears, alleging that he secretly recorded audio from her bedroom, her conversations with her boyfriend and her children. Since June, there have been 3 different documentaries chronicling Britney's plight, including a new one on Netflix.
So I'm not going to go into the Netflix documentary because I feel like that's pretty long and that's a whole separate thing. And I haven't my camera. Okay. I actually haven't had a chance to watch that documentary, so I don't want to go into that. I want to watch it first and I could talk about it another time. But this is just absolutely it's so sad. It's so sad. Hopefully she gets to have her life back. That's the point I want to make with that. But that happened, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a good thing that her dad is being removed. Now we're coming up around 9 o'clock, so I want to go ahead and dive into our second story. And this is the one that I know some of you, when you probably saw this on my thumbnail, you were like, there's no way this is happening. No way that this is happening. But ladies and gentlemen, it is. Because, believe it or not, Miss Kamala Harris is actually beating Joe Biden in the polls. Listen to this. Now, this is funny. I know some of you are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But listen to this. Harris's poll numbers rise as Biden's fall. Vice President Harris has rebounded in recent weeks, regaining her footing with approval ratings that now stand higher than President Biden's. Let's scroll down. I'm going to get straight to the polls. A Gallup poll last week showed 49% approved of Harris's job as vice president, 6 points higher than Biden's 43% approval rating. It's a significant change for Biden and Harris. The president fell 6 points since August and 13 points since June. Harris' current approval rating is the same as Biden's in 2009 when he served as Barack Obama's vice president. The September 22 Gallup poll conducted earlier in the month also revealed that vice president performed better than Biden with independents. A stunning revelation for a man who was catapulted to the White House because of support from that demographic. Yikes. It is unclear why Harris's numbers have risen higher than Biden's. Though Biden in the last 2 months has gone through the most difficult phase of his presidency so far, Biden has received bipartisan criticism related to the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan and has also taken some hits over the prolonged pandemic. Biden has also been criticized for his handling of the border and immigration and taking hits from the left and right over the influx of migrants from Haiti from the last few weeks. Notice they say here from the left and from the right. So it's not just people on the right who are criticizing Biden. This is important, guys. This is what I was trying to tell you. It's not just Republicans who are not happy with the job that Joe Biden is doing. This is going to be crucial come 2024. Now, going down to the bottom, there's something that they mention here that will give you a little bit of a pause, like, wait a minute. To be sure, Harris's polling numbers are not spectacular. The same Gallup poll that showed her with a 49% approval rating showed that she had a 49% disapproval rating. Let me pop out. Now, it's the news, so I wanted to tell you guys about that because I feel it's fair for me to let you know, even though I don't like Kamala Harris, if she goes above, Biden, I need to tell you about that news. That being said, they also told you at the end of that article that this is not like a big victory for Kamala Harris. Her disapproval rating is still 49%. What does this mean for the Biden-Harris administration? They're in trouble. Because what the country is telling you right now, they don't really like Joe Biden and they don't really like Kamala Harris either. They don't like either one of them really, you guys. And this is something I think that like Democrats who are like, oh yeah, Joe Biden's doing such a great job. Those. This is something that I think they're either choosing not to pay attention to or they've seen it and they're in denial. They think that just because Biden is not as overt as Trump, that he's heading in the right direction, that's good enough. As long as he's not overt about it, that's good enough. Shout out to Delthea Simmons for the super chat. Biden has fallen because he isn't doing what he promised. Harris is going up because she's not talking. I was going to get to that point. When she talks, she drops. Absolutely. Thanks so much for the super chat. This is true. Have you guys ever noticed, those of you who are watching, if you grew up with siblings, tell me if this has ever happened to you when you were growing up. If you grew up with siblings, have you ever noticed how sometimes, like maybe you and your brother or your sister, all of you did something wrong, something bad. But sometimes it seems like your brother or your sister, they kind of hide in the background. They're quiet. They don't really say anything. But since you're the one doing all the talking, you're the one that gets in trouble. I have flashbacks of that. I have flashbacks. So sometimes the person who is doing all the talking, they're the ones that people are going to focus on more because they see them more and they hear from them more. What Kamala's doing, Kamala's kind of hiding in the background. She's not speaking much, like Delthea said. But when she does speak, it's like cringe moments. Just like when she said, I also haven't been to Europe. Yeah, that was pretty bad moment for her. That was pretty bad. So I think what Kamala has decided is that it's probably best for me to just kind of sit back in the background. I make sure I'm present. I'm here for representation so that people can point and say, look, Joe Biden appointed a woman of color. That happens, She's there for the symbolism. I'll be there for the symbolism. But I'm not going to say much. It's like the companies that are like, let me hire people of color so that we have diversity in the office, but we're not really going to give them any actual leadership duties. We're not actually going to let them really speak in meetings. But as long as we have them sitting there and we have the diversity, we're good. We're all set. Eric Thomas said, Harris not so good at the talkie. No, no. And they realized this. It's better to just let her not talk as much as possible. Isn't that a shame? I wouldn't be happy being in that position. And it's kind of been told they just really need me to shut up. Swanky says Kamala's Europe comment was her I can see Russia from my house moment. LOL. Oh, yeah. You guys remember when Sarah Palin said that? That was terrible. That was bad. God, that was bad. I don't know why John McCain clicked her. Rest in peace, but I don't know why he picked her. But yeah, so I want you guys to know that yes, she has passed Joe Biden, but her disapproval rating is still bad. And that is important, you guys. Now I have a video I want to show you about this. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Well, let me make sure I get to the point. All right, there we go. Going to share my screen because they were talking about this earlier as well. And let me mute my mic.
The White House is in damage control mode and pushing back hard on the accusation that President Biden lied in his interview with you about the military advice he received on Afghanistan. Press Secretary Jen Psaki saying there were other military advisors who supported the president's decision to withdraw all U.S. forces, though when I asked her who those advisors were, she wouldn't say. But she did emphasize that the president was heeding other warnings about what would happen if the U.S. left a residual force of troops in Afghanistan. They would inevitably come under attack from the Taliban, requiring more troops to be sent in. And rather than ending the war, it wowould prolong it. The White House insisting here that as commander-in-chief, the president was determined to end the war and that was the right decision.
And there's no question, Terry, that this whole episode has taken a toll on the president's poll numbers.
Absolutely. It is battering his public support. Our most recent ABC News poll shows that 61% of the American people disapprove of his handling of Afghanistan. Only 38% approve. Those numbers are down with Democrats and independents, of course, Republicans as well. And they have completely flipped since July, since before the chaotic evacuation from Afghanistan. All this coming at this critical moment in his presidency, this issue dragging him down. George?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, 61% disapprove of Joe Biden. 61%. And notice he said that includes independents. And independents helped get him elected. Just go ask people in Arizona. 61%. Whew. I don't know how you tank that fast. Hasn't even been a year yet. Hasn't even been a year, you guys. What did we tell you about Joe Biden? What did we tell you? The guy ran for president twice already. This was his third time running. There was a reason he did not win the other times. But this time, the DNC decided that he was going to be the one. That's how it works. That's how it works. I'm going to get into my final story tonight. Oh, President Obama, former President Obama, I should say. Let's not go back to that moment. What can I say? First, I'm going to show you the video. Let me go ahead and get it to that spot. All right, got that lined up. All right. President Obama recently did an interview with ABC. Yes, he is back. No matter what happens, this man continues to come back and remind us that he is still around. He won't go away. It's just the reality, folks. But he did an interview with ABC and he was talking about a new center. It's going to be called the President Obama's Presidential Center, and it's going to break ground in Chicago. There is criticism about this, And there is criticism about something that was omitted from this interview. First, I'm going to show you the center, and then I'm going to show you the criticism about the center. So let me go ahead, Jesus today. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. Let's pop onto it. Let me mute my mic.
Classrooms and recording studios where young people can learn how to tell their stories.
Is it true that once upon a time you wanted to be an architect?
It is true. This is true. When I was a kid, and I'm fascinated with the architectural process and these little models and how these things get to put together.
The Center, a blueprint for success. The vision crafted alongside the former First Lady. It's the Obamas' ambitious promise to uplift their South Side community.
We've set an extraordinarily high bar in terms of making sure that the people in these communities benefit. And we want to make sure that we're hiring people from the community, but we're also training them for a profession that over the long term they can build a life with and support a family with.
That
So that's the center that is being built in the South Side of Chicago. South Side of Chicago, which is where Michelle Obama grew up. That's where her and Barack Obama later lived. When they started dating, they moved into her parents' apartment. Her parents had like a multi-unit apartment. You guys have seen those before. On the South Side of Chicago. The only reason I know all this is because I haven't finished it. I read part of Michelle Obama's book called Becoming, where she talks all about her life growing up in the South Side. And she talks about what happened when gentrification started to come in. And this is why I'm so angry that this is where Obama decided to put this center. This is the first criticism that you're going to see about the center. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. All right, let me share my screen. Because for those of you who don't know, I've done a vlog about gentrification in Boston. I've talked about gentrification often. And for Obama to believe that this is not going to be an issue, he's either being really naive or he really doesn't care. He's just trying to, continue his legacy. He's really big on this whole legacy thing. So listen to this. Ahead of Tuesday's groundbreaking on the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago, former President Barack Obama reflected on the center's mission and defended his decision to choose the historic Jackson Park neighborhood on Chicago's South Side as the site to honor his legacy. What I tell you, it's all about his legacy. This man's always talking about his legacy. Some community organizers have expressed concern that the development of the center, which would become a tourist attraction, could lead to gentrification of the neighborhood. While park preservationists have challenged the construction in court, citing environmental concerns. Let me pop out. Let's talk about the gentrification here. This is going to be a problem. And I'm going to tell you why I know this. Anytime you put a tourist attraction in a neighborhood that is maybe working class, maybe lower income, what's going to happen is obviously tourists are going to want to come see the attraction. If you're going to Chicago, you want to tour Chicago, you're probably going to go see the Obama Presidential Center. That brings in a lot of money. I know this because I live in a city that has a lot of tourism. It makes a lot of money off of tourism. When that presidential center starts to make a lot of money, and it will, you know what else is going to happen? Real estate investors are going to come into the South Side of Chicago. They're going to want to build luxury condos near that presidential center. They're going to want to build luxury apartments near that presidential center. even if it means that they have to purchase apartment units and apartment buildings that are currently housed. They will offer those landlords more money, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, to just sell them the building. Landlords sell them the building. The tenants are kicked out. They got to come up with money to move to another apartment. Sometimes that's 2 months rent. Sometimes that's 3 months rent. In Boston, it's 3 months. And wealthy people will move in. And when wealthy people move in and professionals move in, that lets other landlords know that they can increase the rent. It's happening all across this country. They'll increase the rent, and the people who grew up in those neighborhoods will no longer be able to afford to live in the south side of Chicago. They'll have to move further out, and they'll have a longer commute to come to work. Now, the reason why this is bothersome to me is because I just told you in Michelle Obama's book, she talks about what happened during white flight. She talks about how all the white kids in her school moved out to the suburbs. How her schools changed once the people changed. Then she talks later on about when she came back from college and she moved back in. And how other people, even back then, they were already starting to gentrify. This is why I'm telling you guys, this is not a new thing. When she got out of law school and she started working at the firm in Chicago, she moved back in with her parents. And she said, even then, the neighborhood had started to change. Most of the people that she knew that she grew up with, they were already pushed out. Developers were already coming in. So if she knows that, and her and Barack saw that, and they lived it, and they went through it, why would you put this center in the south side of Chicago to continue gentrification to happen? Why would you do it? Why? I'm going to go to some of the comments in the chat. UG Magazine says millions of people were kicked out of their houses when Barack Obama bailed out the banks during his presidency. So in a way, this is continuing his legacy. Isn't that a shame? It's a damn shame. You guys know Chicago is huge. I've only been to Chicago once. It's pretty big. It's bigger than Boston. There's a lot of other places he could have put that center. And then once again, Obama will be responsible for people losing their homes. Guys, this is not okay. Like, this is it, just him of all people. He knows what is going to happen. People are already upset about it. Residents are already talking about it. They're already trying to fight. They're trying to push back and fight against it because they know what's coming. Yes, I am on Rockfin. Someone just asked me that. Angry Progressive. Is Sabby Sabs on Rockfin? I'm moving on from YouTube. Yes, I am on Rockfin under the same name. Thanks so much, Jill, for the super chat. You would do it because you're a narcissistic sociopath. How could you do this? How could you do it? Now, that's not the only criticism that's coming from this interview. There was something else that happened that was not put in the interview. Listen to this. And after I read this to you, I want you to ask, I wonder why. Why did they not? Why'd they cut that from the interview? Listen to this, guys. ABC omits criticism of open borders from televised interview. Listen to this. ABC News omitted former President Obama's claim that open borders are unsustainable from the TV portion of his interview with the network. What do you know, ladies and gentlemen? Why would they cut that out? Whoa. Can you guys hear me? I don't know what happened there. Like for a second, I froze and everything just kind of like shut down and reopened. But I think you can see me now. Oh, okay. Maybe it was just me. Okay, back to what I was saying. He went on to say immigration is tough. It's always been because on one hand, I think we're naturally a people that wants to help others. And we see tragedy and hardship in families that are desperately trying to get here so that their kids are safe. And they're in some cases fleeing violence or catastrophe. And I just want to add in here violence and catastrophe that his administration also caused. Make sure you add that part in. Obama said in a segment of the interview that was edited out of the televised version but appeared online. At the same time, we are a nation state. We have borders. The idea that we can just have open borders is something that, as a practical matter, is unsustainable. ABC aired the portion of the interview in which Obama accused the GOP of obstructing immigration reform in Congress. The network also aired the segment in which Obama defended his administration's granting temporary legal status to Haitian refugees after the 2010 earthquake, an issue which Biden is now confronting amid the wave of Haitians arriving at the southern border in recent weeks. The network also skipped over Obama's criticism of open borders during its evening show, ABC World News Tonight, which aired select portions of the president's interview. The former president's repudiation of open borders, although mild, is a departure from the recent rhetoric of Biden and Democratic lawmakers who have repeatedly insisted that the border is closed despite abundant evidence to the contrary. Guys, let me pop out. Let's talk. I know sometimes when you're editing video, and I edit things sometimes, you can't keep everything. I get it. But why would they cut that out? Why would they cut that out? Go into some of the comments in the chat. Lawrence said Obama to blame for our immigration policy and building the cages. Oh. Teresa said, I do agree with Obama on this one, but is unsustainable, period. Okay, and if you do agree with Obama on this, you have the right to do so. But the question I want you to ask yourself is, why did they cut that out? Out of all the things that they cut out of the interview, why would they cut that part out? That's something I want you guys to think about. Super Patriot said Obama told them to. Could be. Because that's not the Democrat talking point. That is not the Democrat talking point. They don't want you to hear that. They don't want you to hear that Obama said that it's not sustainable. No, that doesn't help them win elections. Exactly, because it helps Trump. You guys see what they're doing here? I found out about this early this morning. It popped up on my phone. And I was like, what? I was like, let me look at this. Because you hear news every day. Eric Thomas said, yeah, border a sore point for Biden right now. Cut that part out, though. We can't let everybody hear that because then they'll know, they might think that Trump was right. Can't let that happen. Nope. Don't want them to start getting ideas. Little Rock Elevator said because they still praise Obama like he's a god. They do, don't they? I'm telling you, it's like this man will never go away. Justin said it's to keep up the myth that there's a difference between the two parties' policies. Bingo. Justin nailed it. Justin, you get a prize. Justin gets a prize. They have to keep up that facade. They have to continue to let us think that there really is this big difference, and it's not. Because if Dems don't have immigration, what are they left with? They're left with being pro-choice, woman's right to choose. But other than that, what are they left with? This is a big one for Democrats, you guys, is immigration. Justin, you get the Comment of the Night award. Everybody give Justin a round of applause. He broke it down. He broke it down. Ramsey said that Reagan gave amnesty to 3 million people, I heard. Things were a lot different back then. Even Bush Sr. thought that immigrants should come here, that they should have the right to come here. Bush Sr. thought that. He said, well, yeah, they're here. Like, he's like, I have, Latino family members, which I don't know if a lot of you guys know that, but they do. The Bushes do have, I forget on which side, but anyway, they do have like Latino family members as well. Even back then, you can go pull up this debate. I'm not kidding. Between him and Clinton at that time, he said he still believed that they should come here. We need to let them come here and help them become citizens. That came from Bush Sr. Things changed over time. Changed over time. Justin said, thanks, Sabby. You're the best. Oh, thank you. It's true. You hit the nail on the head. They don't have immigration. They have to keep that. They have to continue to make it seem like Republicans don't want immigrants to come here and that they do. That they're welcoming, they want to bring you in, and Republicans want to keep them out. Workers Controller Production said, that's right. Clinton ran to Bush's right that year. Yep. Sometimes it's good to go on YouTube and pull up some of those old presidential debates just to see how the talking points have changed. Whether it's Republican or whether it's Democrat, the talking points have changed. And you'll see even back then just how Bill Clinton was more to the right. Oh, thank you so much. Whatever, man. Jeb's wife is Latina. There you go. Okay. I knew it was somewhere. I couldn't remember which side of the family. Jill said there used to be a policy that allowed immigrants to come for growing seasons, travel with the ripening crops, stay 6 months, and then go home for 6 months. It worked for everyone. That's interesting. That is interesting. Wonder what happened with that. Things used to be different. I think I'm going to do that one day. I don't know if I should wait to do that during election season. Actually, I could do it now. It doesn't have to be during election season. But I'm going to talk about some of those older debates. Maybe do like a comparison so you can see the difference between Republican talking points then, Republican talking points now. Same thing with Democrat. Maybe throw in some Ross Perot. Oh, thanks, Jill. All right, Jill said she'll look it up. Yeah, I wonder what happened. Audit the Pentagon said, I don't know if it's true, but I heard the Brits had boots on the ground in Central America. I don't know if that's true either. I'd have to look into that. But yeah. What, Little Rock? Do it around election season? Okay. Yeah, that probably will be good. But yeah. This is what they try to hide. They don't want you to know. Let's take that out. Don't let them know that Obama said that. No, can't have that happen. No. No, 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 no. Then they said that Obama is so liberal. Remember, they were saying even back when Obama won the first term, they were saying that he was a communist. I was like, really? Have you listened to Obama? Like, okay. Okay. Greg Bruce says, I recommend watching the JFK versus Nixon debate. Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one to watch. Z said Sabby for president of the United States. Oh, God, no. Oh, gosh. You know, if you think people come for me now, they would really come for me. You know, they would really come for me. Who does this girl think she is? Where did you come from? I'm like, America, bitch. Choosy Heretic says the despotic depopulation agenda marches on until we decisively pull the emergency brake by taking a deep breath and confidently calling for a carnation revolution and remaining worthy of rescue. That was deep, Choosy Heretics. Well said. Well said. Eric Thomas said Republicans may be your enemy, but Democrats are not your friends. Nope. Mm-mm. No. Kind of reminds you of high school where there was like that clique that you knew was like, those are your enemies. You don't want to mess with them. They don't really want to mess with you. It just is what it is. And then there was like another clique where it was like, they weren't your enemies, but you knew they were kind of fake. Kind of like that movie Mean Girls. You guys ever seen Mean Girls? It's kind of like the Mean Girls group. It's like they may not have necessarily been your enemies. They'll be nice to your face, but behind your back, they just stab you. That's the Democrats. They get you behind the back. Get you behind the back. Laura said the DNC and the RNC remind me of racism. Oh. My friend said she would rather have blatant racism than hidden. Still, racism is racism, just like the DNC and the RNC is corrupted equally. Oh, snap. That's a good point, Laura. And I can see that. I can see like Republicans as being more like maybe overt and Democrats being more covert. But it happens on both sides. And it's true. Think about it. Would you rather have someone stab you in the front or stab you in the back? You know. No, Little Rock, best song of Democrats is indeed Backstabbers by the OJs. Oh my gosh. My parents would love to hear that. They love the OJs. I'm going to mention that to them. The Backstabbers. How's it go? They smile in your face. Old time won't take your place. I can't sing it like them. But yeah, it's that's a good song. They're backstabbers. They're backstabbers. All right. Something I do want to tell you guys. I'm about to head out, but if you're looking for something to watch, and I know this is off topic, but I just finished it. Watch Squid Game on Netflix. I just saw the final episode. I'm still in shock. Like, you want to talk about a show that is going to really blow your mind? Squid Game. It is based in Korea. Yes, there are subtitles. Don't be lazy, read them. I know some people are like, I don't like subtitles. I don't feel like reading. Don't be lazy, read them. It is a really good show. Some people I know have watched it all in one day. There's 9 episodes. And the reason why I'm telling you to watch that show is because regardless of what you see on the screen, I want you to go into it with this idea that the underlying message is capitalism. Now that I told you that, if you go and watch it, once you finish it, you'll understand why I said that. At the end of the day, everything that happens throughout that show, the message is capitalism. This is what happens in a capitalist society. I want you to keep that in mind. All right, guys, again, if you like what I do, feel free to donate to my Patreon. It's at the bottom of the screen, patreon.com/Sabrina Salvati. You can do that and support my work, or you can become a member on my YouTube channel and get cool perks with that. Or if you want to wear Sabby brand clothing, you want a Sabby mug, although I don't have my Sabby mug with me tonight, you can do that at my merch store. And that is located in the details tab of this video. Guys, have a good night. Tomorrow night, I'm coming back. Ashura asked me to do this, and I'm going to do it. We're going to talk about the R. Kelly trial because R. Kelly was found guilty today. And we're going to get into it. I'm going to take you all the way back to the Aaliyah days, back when he was married to Aaliyah, and that was under shh. I know a lot about this. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about something else that just happened with Kamala Harris before I came on this stream. And there's another story I have for you as well. But guys, you know how we do this. Have a good night. Keep up the fight.